Morning, Edie.
Good morning.
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 All right, I got 8:30 and 20 people or so already. So happy Friday and happy end of week 4. So this week we had a pretty active week. We're definitely in the meat of the session and a lot of bills calendared on committees. This week in environmental committees on the, let me start with the Senate. On the Senate, Environmental Natural Resources met on Monday with a few of the bills we're tracking, and then the approach subcommittee on agriculture and environment met on Wednesday and moved a couple of bills forward. In the House, we had Ag and Natural Resources approach on Wednesday, and then Thursday afternoon. So I was updating bills yesterday afternoon. Environment, Ag, and Flooding Subcommittee met yesterday and moved a couple of bills. So let me start at the top of the list. Would it help everybody if I screen shared this thing? Happy to do it.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay. Let me move this here, and I will try this again. There we go. And I hate that double screen thing. Let me do this. All right, there we go. All right, so at the top again, I'm focused on the issues that I care about and that are moving, and they're all up front. So PFAS, we had a lot of movement last week. Not as much apparent maybe in just the bill status, but a little bit of behind the scenes here as well. And this came out when McClure provided his introduction to the bill yesterday. So this was actually the first stop for the House bill version of one of the two pairs of PFAS bills. McClure has been meeting with the department all week. I shouldn't say that. I mean, there was at least a meeting this week, and apparently they reached an agreement. This bill did get heard in the pre-agreement form, and let me describe what I mean by that. So the bill, as it was passed out unanimously yesterday, does stop the department from imposing any cleanup requirements. It also provides third-party liability until such time as water quality standards are established in the state of Florida for the PFAS group. It does include a deadline for Florida to establish the standards, and that last piece is what got apparently negotiated out by DEP. So they simply asked not to have a deadline because they are going to do it as quickly as they can after EPA promulgates federal standards. And so that was all explained yesterday by McClure when he introduced the bill. There was a little bit of discussion, but everybody clearly, it was unanimous. Everybody kind of understands what the game plan is. And so what we'll see in the next stop on Albritton's bill, because it got TP'd or temporarily postponed last week as this issue was being negotiated. So Albritton's bill, SB 1418, when it pops up next week, it will be conformed to the negotiated McClure version. And then at the next stop, McClure's bill is going to match Albritton's bill. And then these two are going to sail through. All right, so the deal has been done and this is going to pass. The next two bills are also PFAS bills. These are the ones that would create the task force. I still think we're going to have a task force happening simultaneously with this kind of pause while DEP promulgates standards. And here's why. There is a multi-state trust, a multi-state litigation going on right now. At least one of Florida's municipalities, I think it's Fort Pierce. I want to say it's Fort Pierce. I may be wrong about that, but over in the East Central Coast is one of the cases. But there are a number of municipalities and states that are suing the manufacturers. There's very likely going to be some kind of global settlement. A multi-state trust will probably be established, and there will likely be some chunk of money set aside for Florida as a part of that multi-state trust. And that source of funding would be tapped to do some source removal, well monitoring programs, things like that to protect people from PFAS. And I think the task force is there to monitor that and maybe provide some guidance. Well, clearly the purpose would be to provide some guidance to the department, some kind of program, and some recommendations to the governor and legislature about a program that would implement such a multi-state trust. So, this is a little bit crystal ball for me, but I'm hearing a lot of nodding or seeing a lot of nodding when this issue is discussed. I think that's how it's going to go. And so I think both of these pairs of bills are going to go, they may get merged at the next stop and they'll just be one PFAS bill, but I think you're going to have both of these provisions get adopted in law this year. Any questions on PFAS?
Hi, this is Lynn Walker with the City of Tallahassee. I have a quick question. On those
Sure.
first two, did I hear you say that you feel like the bills are going to pass that say the state will not take enforcement or actions for assessment on PFAS until there's an MCL or a 62777 standard?
That is 100% correct. I heard it right
Okay.
out of the deputy secretary's mouth, and then I heard it out of McClure's mouth yesterday.
So here's a question to ponder. Maybe you have an answer. Let's say an entity, a responsible party, has already taken those actions. If we were to reach closure prior to those numbers, would we be grandfathered in as a closed site?
No, I don't think you'll be able to reach closure because closure requires meeting an MCL, and an MCL hasn't been established. I think you could reach some kind of administrative conclusion to a site assessment or a cleanup, but I don't think you would get anything like a closure.
Because there wasn't an established limit.
Exactly. Nobody has defined the nobody's drawn the finish line yet.
Got you. All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Anything else on PFAS? All right. I do want to mention that besides the PFAS bill yesterday, there was a committee bill called Statewide Flooding and Sea Level Rise Resilience. It's called PCB EAF 22-01. I have not got a copy of it, read it, added it to our tracking list yet, but I saw that pop up. I'm going to get it and put it on the report for next week. So at this point, I'm just letting you know that there's a PCB on statewide flooding and sea level rise resilience, and I'll get you more information next week, or shoot me an email or whatever if you want something sooner than next Friday. I'll grab a copy of it and start going through it.
Sounds like, Jeff, that may have been the thing I was hearing about. Good.
I think so. There was a presentation by the department, by their coastal resiliency program a couple of weeks ago at that same subcommittee. I think, I think you're right, Michael. And as soon as one of us can read it, I'll race you to it and we'll figure out what's in it.
Awesome.
I won't be doing it while I'm driving over to Jacksonville, though. So if you're ahead of me, let me know. All right. Moving along back to the bill tracker. This private provider bill, not any movement in the last week. I still think it's gonna. It seems like it's got momentum, but you never know. I guess it could stall out. The sanitary sewer lateral inspection program is another pair of bills that has momentum. I'm still hearing a lot of chatter at the department. They like these bills, these programs that would help identify leaking underground, sources of wastewater pollution. So I think these are going to go. we talked a little bit over the last several weeks about this comprehensive review study of the CSF. It's simply an annual report from South Florida Water Management District to the legislature and the governor. This has been moving on both sides. It moved again this week. I did reach out to the chief of staff at South Florida Water Management District, and it's not even on her radar. So there may be people agitated about what this could possibly mean, but this does not seem to be a concern to the South Florida Water Management District. I suspect they're probably already, collecting a ton of information, obviously on the CSF project, and maybe this is simply a way to organize it so that it's more useful, here to folks that want to track it. I'll keep my ears open for any more chatter on this, but like I said, I've opened up the line of communication with the chief of staff down there, and she'll let me know if we're hearing anything funny.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
This is Blake.
Yep.
I talked to Drew about this a year ago. Yep. And they are, they're well aware of this, and their H&H group is working with the Corps. So this is not a surprise to them. This is something that they've been working on.
Good deal. Thank you, Blake. Was looking for just that kind of context. I appreciate that.
Blake, did you say their H&H group?
Well, a Keen's group. A Keen's group has been doing the canal capacity study and the level of service study of the canals and just preparing for this, because they're, the Corps is kind of relooking at things as they start replacing all of those pump stations and facilities as part of their ongoing program.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. The next pair, this is the redevelopment of former agriculture land, exempts ag land from certain site assessment remedial activity requirements for contamination related to the legal application of pesticides, etc. This is moving again on the House side. I have not seen Albritton's bill move, and I haven't heard a good explanation. I know there was a lot of back and forth with Miami-Dade Durham initially with a lot of concerns, but I didn't expect Albritton to listen to those concerns. So, but anyway, his bill isn't moving, but the House bill is. It could easily catch up. It could. It just needs to be heard in one committee if the House version passes out and makes it to the floor. So still plenty of time for that. I'm still hearing a lot of positive support for that, with the exception of Durham. This inventories of critical wetlands bills, these are also still moving through and on both sides. So this would create an alternative process for identifying wetlands for acquisition. The process in this case goes through the Water Management District governing boards and outside of the ARC, the Florida Forever process at DEP. So I still haven't heard any real reason for it, but I don't see any real policy concern either. Has anybody heard any more detail on why this was deemed necessary? At the end of the day, it's the same pot of money that would be acquiring the lands, but it does set up a separate listing process. So a lot of movement on these bills. The formerly REEF program bills, so this expands the list of qualifying improvements for financing homeowner improvements for non-ad valorem, through non-ad valorem assessments. This program is expanded to include things like that. So this is an expansion of the PACE program to add new categories of improvements such as sewer laterals for septic to sewer programs, septic tank upgrades, things like that. So moving in the House and Senate, those two bills. And then the riparian rights bills are also, excuse me, the Senate version is moving. Albritton's version is moving. Still haven't seen anything on the House. And the cleanup of harmful algal blooms and the blue-green algae task force bills. I'm kind of down here in the catch-all section. A little bit of movement. This environmental train bill here with the seagrass mitigation provision in it called Water Resources Management. That made some good movement and then kind of stalled. The same thing on the Senate side. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then now we're kind of down to the list of things that are interesting but probably aren't moving or won't pass. So any questions?
Hey Jeff, I have a question on the things that won't pass. So you don't have any additional insight on 1426?
Hang on one second. 1426.
I think it's called water quality enhancement areas.
It's now called environmental management. Let me see what's going on here. 1426. Was I already tracking it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Burgess. Yeah, just hasn't had any movement. It has a companion called 965. Let's see if the companion did move this week. Okay, so this is water quality enhancement directs water. Okay, so this is the water quality credit trading thing.
Credit trading, yes.
Yeah. I haven't really done a lot of, I haven't studied this a lot yet. So let me get a little smarter on this. It looks like the TrueNow's version is moving, including this week. Does not look like Burgess's version is moving.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any more questions? All right, short and sweet, just like I like it. As always, if anybody comes up with anything else, shoot me a note. I will look into 1426 and 965 and have a better report for next week. I'll also look into that committee bill on the sea level rise thing for next week.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
This is Alan. What I'm looking at on 1426 shows it did go through environment and natural resources on Monday this week.
Well, then I guess I just flubbed it. Let me look again. Yeah. Favorable on Monday. Yes, sir. My apologies. I will get smarter on these two bills.
Hey, it's easier to sit and look this stuff up when you're not emceeing the show. So
he's just getting ready for his meeting, Jeff. Don't.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm the prepping him.
I'm practicing. I'm warming up.
Hey, I never call into yours and snipe you from the tree line. All right, everybody. Well, have a great weekend, and let me know if anything, if you need anything in the interim.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Thank you.
I'll give you a call.
You gonna call me Michael?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye-bye.